Hello everyone, my name is Kevin, welcome back to the channel, and if I sound a little bit angry, I'm sorry. I am dealing with the final Valkyrie fight right now on God of War. It's all I have to do is finish the final Valkyrie fight, but she is such an overpowered piece of just such pain, man. Like, the Valkyrie fights are way harder than they have any right to be. Like, they don't need to be that difficult, but that's not what this is about. This is about the SummerSlam 2020 review. Sorry it's taking so long. I've been busy as hell the past couple of days, but I'm finally getting it done. So here we go. Match number one, we have the United States Championship match, Apollo Crews versus MVP. The prediction was Crews by both Jesse and myself. Crews went for some quick pins, tried to get it done as quick as he could so he could get out of the match. He got sent outside, his face hitting off the steel stairs. MVP tries for quick pins to take the title from Crews. Both men get back in at the count of 9. Crews goes wild on MVP in the corner, hits a spinebuster, hits a standing moonsault, but MVP kicks out at 2. Eventually hits the tallest powerbomb. Crews wins 8 out of 10, 1-0 in predictions. It wasn't anything special. It pretty much went the exact way it looked like it was going to, and then afterwards the Hurt Business came out and attacked Apollo Crews, obviously. It's set up now for Apollo Crews to be facing Bobby Lashley at Payback for the United States Championship, which I'm not too excited for. I really don't care about it. I'm not a big fan of either man, to be honest. Like, in ring, they're both pretty good, but on the mic, everything else, they're both pretty bad. So I guess we'll see where it goes. Hurt Business went crazy on Raw Underground this past Monday because they're kind of pissed off that Apollo Crews beat Bobby Lashley in an arm wrestling competition. Match number 2, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Bayley versus Asuka. Prediction was Bayley for both myself and Jesse. Asuka's great, and she seems like the nicest person in the world. Like, the way she came out, she's just fucking awesome, okay? Asuka's like one of the coolest people, like, seems like one of the coolest people in the world because, like, her entrance, everything about it it's her having a good time. Like, she just seems like she's in such a good mood all the time when she comes out during her entrance. Asuka's in quick control of the match. Interesting submission in. I couldn't really tell what it was. Bayley gets the rope, though. Hip attack sends Bayley into the table. Asuka hits a diving DDT from the steps for a 2 count. Sasha gets in Corey's face as he talks about Bayley because she's stupid and that's the only thing she can do. Bayley to Bayley after big reversal by Bayley. 2 count. Asuka takes control. Big hip attack. Knee strike. Another hip attack for a 2 count. Bayley sends Asuka's knees down onto the apron. Sasha laughs very annoyingly. Interesting submission on the knee. Elbow catches Asuka as she goes for an ankle lock. Code breaker for a 2 count. Knee bar locked in by Bayley, catching her off the top rope. Asuka kind of hurt her leg during the match. Bayley with a sunset flip powerbomb into the corner. Armbar in, catching Bayley off the top rope from the elbow drop. Banks booted down by Asuka. She starts screaming at her. Sasha tries to get involved. Roll up for a 2. Sasha takes a hip attack for Bayley. Bayley rolls up Asuka and wins 9 out of 10, 2-0 on predictions. Bayley and Banks attacked her post-match, but Bayley looks pretty beaten up still. Sasha saves the match for her. Sasha's saving the match for her. Hopefully, Bayley ends up screwing it up for Asuka or for Sasha later, which would be the best thing. Dominic and Ray are talking backstage, and Ray gives his word to let Dominic handle the match himself. Next, we have the Raw Tag Team Championship match. We have the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. Jesse and I had both predicted Andrade and Angel Garza to win. Kevin Owens comes out for commentary. That's only good news right there. Kevin Owens coming out for commentary, I'll take it. Ford flips over Andrade, taking it to him really quick, some fast-paced action between these teams, stuff we've been seeing from them for the past couple months. Double team on Angel Garza, suicide dive, but gets caught and powerbombed onto the floor. Garza takes control over Ford. Ford did not really look too good at this point in the match. Armbar over the rope by Andrade. Double team stomp to Ford, being kept away from Dawkins. Dawkins finally comes in, takes it to Andrade, takes down Garza. Hits back elbows hit to Dawkins. He comes back with a big spear. Ford and Garza are both tagged in. Frog splash. Crossbody is hit. Garza puts his feet on the rope, but it's caught. Vega distracts the ref. Knocked down by Ford after Garza hits him. Andrade checks on her. Cash out and from the heavens is hit. Street Profits win 10 out of 10, 2-1 on predictions. Definitely not the way I expect it to end, but I'm completely fine with them being champions still because I love the Street Profits. So that's going to be nice. Aleister Black was invited to the KO show for Raw. And Bayley and Sasha both get cocky talking about Asuka and defending the titles next Sunday. So we can actually talk about a few of these things. So first things first, it does seem like they're setting up for the Street Profits versus Andrade and Garza again, potentially, based off of what happened on Raw this past week, or just the other day. Aleister Black did end up showing up on the KO show, and after the footage being shown, Kevin Owens goes to talk about it, and then Aleister Black hits him with a black mass, turning heel. I don't fully know where this is going, but I mean, I'm fine with Aleister Black as a heel. He has a very fitting look to be a heel, so I like the idea of him being heel. I wasn't expecting it. I definitely wasn't expecting it to happen, but I mean, like, it happened, and there's not much we can really say about it. It's just, we'll see where it goes from there. Match number 4, no DQ, loser leaves WWE match, Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. Prediction was Rose for both Jesse and myself. Quick fighting outside, lots of knees from Deville, but Mandy starts taking control. She heads up to the announce desk, hits a diving clothesline to Deville. Mandy grabs the table out, and she has a lot of trouble getting it up. Like, she tries to pick it up a few times, fails. She goes to, she pushes it under the apron for some reason. She finally ends up getting it up, and then Deville attacks her with a chair. She bounces Mandy's head off the announce table over and over and over and over again. Rolls her in for a 2 count. Very interesting submission. She ends up getting in on Rose, but Rose fights out of it. Rose rolls up while in the triangle, but Deville breaks the hold to avoid losing. Mandy whips chairs at Sonya outside. Big boot to the midsection. Rose sets up for a finisher, but Deville avoids it. Hits a big knee, and Mandy wins 10 out of 10, 3-1 on predictions. I'm sad to see Sonya go, because I actually do really, really enjoy Sonya Deville. She's fantastic on the mic. She's fantastic in the ring. I do hope she comes back one day, as I know the main reason she's leaving is because she wants to take some time off to go be with family and friends after what happened a couple weeks ago. I'm surprised Mandy didn't also want to take time off. I'm surprised both of them have been working how well they've been working for the past couple weeks after that happened. I'm surprised they were both on SmackDown last week. I'm surprised they both wrestled the match on SummerSlam. You go. Both of you are fucking fantastic and are fighting so hard to stay happy right now during a very, very difficult time where anyone else would probably be losing their minds after what happened and wanting to take a break from work. So to both Sonya and Mandy, I hope everything goes good for you guys. I hope Sonya comes back someday. And congrats on the win, Mandy. Otis then came down to celebrate with Mandy. She did the caterpillar, sorry. It wasn't very good. It looked kind of bad, but yeah. Match number 5, men's street fight. Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins. Prediction was Mysterio for both. Rollins has a custom attire based on Ray's from the 1996 Halloween Havoc. If you've never seen that, it's a purple and black attire with question marks all over it. It's a really cool attire when Ray wore it, and it was really cool to see Seth wearing it just to kind of mock them. Murphy actually is at ringside, obviously. He had an attire that looked a lot like the one Rollins wore when he ended Sting's career. Inadvertently ended Sting's career, I should mention. Bret Hart saying, "Oh, it's Seth Rollins' fault all the time." It's not. It was an accident. And everyone, including Sting, knows it was an accident, except Bret Hart for some reason. Mysterio gets his pace going and starts to take control over Rollins. Stops in the corner of Dominic. Seth slams him down and asks for a kendo stick. Dominic kicks him away and grabs it himself. Tries to use it, but Seth stops his momentum. Seth attacks Dominic and taunts Ray. Sling blades hit on Rollins. Seth gets his best friend, a chair, and taunts Ray more as he sits in it. He goes for the stomp off the chair, but Mysterio trips him up into it. Starts attacking him in the corner. A buckle bombs are reversed into a Rana, sending Rollins into the turnbuckle. DDT by Mysterio for a 2 count. Grabs the kendo stick and starts unleashing hits on Seth. Seth stops him as he goes up. Rollins is shoved down, but then he jumps back up. Hits the superplex Falcon Arrow combo for a 2 count. Rollins gets a kendo stick from Murphy and starts swinging on Dominic. Rollins has Murphy grab a table. Interesting. Unloads with more kendo stick shots. Sends him into the corner where the table is. Sets him on top of it. Goes up and Dominic crotches Seth on the ropes. Slams him through the table using the kendo stick for help. Frog splash by Dominic for a 2 count. A super kick. A powerbomb. Very powerful indeed. Rips Dominic's jacket off. Unloads with kendo stick shots. Murphy gives Rollins some handcuffs. Angie comes out and Ray tries to stop her. Roll up by Dominic for a 2. Murphy hits the knee to Dominic. Ray stops Murphy from blinding Dominic. Ray is handcuffed to the rope. There's attacks with kendo sticks. Seth focuses on Angie as Murphy makes Ray watch. Dominic attacks him, taking care of Murphy and destroying Seth. 619 is sort of done to Murphy. Like, Murphy was, I think his head was out and Dominic did it in a really weird way. Like, Murphy was, I think, peeking under the bottom rope, and Dominic swung in and hit it. It was really weird. Then he hits a full and actual 619 to Seth. Knees up on the frog splash. Seth taunts Ray. Curb stomp hit on Dominic in front of Ray, and Seth wins. 3-2 on predictions, 15 out of 10. Honestly, the match was very good. I think Dominic did great, and it had a lot of emotion going into it. And it was very hard-hitting. It was fast-paced. I'm excited to see where the feud goes in the next couple months. They did have a tag team match, Ray and Dominic versus Seth and Murphy, that ended when Retribution came out and attacked. So hopefully they're setting up for a match at Payback between the four of them in a tag match, which I don't like the idea of them doing a pay-per-view a week after another pay-per-view, but whatever, I guess. Yeah, it was really cool. And if you don't know who Angie is, that is Dominic's mom / Ray's wife. So, match number 6, Raw Women's Championship match with Sasha Banks versus Asuka. Prediction was Asuka for both. Sasha immediately goes after the leg. Asuka unloads with kicks to Sasha's face. Sasha tries to walk away. Big shock there. Knee bar by Asuka outside. Sasha gets out of it. Kicks to Sasha on the apron. She dodges and Asuka kicks the post, followed by Sasha hitting a sunset flip powerbomb on her to the outside. Asuka gets in at 8. Now that fucking powerbomb, that sunset flip powerbomb looked really bad. Like, it looked fucking brutal. It looked painful. They got to be more careful when they're putting Sasha in there, because I mean, I'm not saying she's Nia Jax levels of bad, but she does botch things, and when she botches things, a lot of times people get hurt. She technically did end Paige's career, which is like a really hard thing to think about and a really shitty thing to think about, when it was right after Paige had returned from an injury that had kept her out for more than a year. Sasha ended up ending her career right then and there. So I feel like they should definitely be a lot more careful when they're doing a lot of these things, especially considering what's happened recently with Nia Jax legitimately fucking dropping Kairi Sane and buckle bombing her into a fucking stair. I think they definitely need to really focus on what spots they're planning, just to make sure they're being careful with them and aren't risking somebody getting hurt. Sasha kicks Asuka's head in really hard in the corner for a 2 count. Asuka slams Sasha down face first and transitions it to a knee bar. Asuka hits her with an inverted DDT from up top for a 2 count. Asuka attacks Sasha outside the ring, heads back in, hits a missile dropkick for a 2. Double knees to the face by Sasha for a 2. Frog splash is avoided by Asuka. Asuka catches Sasha into the Asuka lock, but she breaks out of it, rolls up for a 2 count. Banks' statement is locked in, rolls it into the Asuka lock. Bayley almost takes the hip attack for Sasha. Spinning back fist takes her down. Asuka lock in on Sasha. Asuka wins 4-2 on predictions, 11 out of 10. It was such a crazy finish, and it went so quick. And Sasha still can't fucking defend a singles title to save her goddamn life, which I love very much. She doesn't look very happy with Bayley, so it should be fun within the next week. More to that point, Monday night on Raw, Sasha Banks did get a rematch against Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship in a Lumberjill match, whatever you want to call it. I think Lumberjack still sounds better than Lumberjill match. It's never really sounded right to me when they say Lumberjill match. Just say Lumberjack match. Lumberjack's gonna be female too, you fucking assholes. Which Sasha again tapped out against Asuka. Even though Bayley was trying to get involved a lot, and yeah, it went good in my opinion. Match number 7, WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Prediction was McIntyre for both. Orton slid out of the ring immediately. McIntyre goes wild on him as he gets back in the ring. Orton slides out again, but Drew chases him out. Orton tries for the RKO a few times. He sidesteps after another RKO attempt, sending Drew shoulder first to the post. Orton clears off the table and drops McIntyre onto it. Orton stomping on Drew. McIntyre taking control now, both hitting the other's knee, and both men are down. Spinebuster followed by McIntyre getting a figure 4 in. Orton pulls the ref to obscure his view as he thumbs the eye of McIntyre. Drew hits an overhead belly to belly and then a second clothesline from up top takes Orton down, and his eye was legit like fucking bleeding after the thumb of the eye. It looked fucking bad. Superplex avoided by Orton, taking his leg out from under him. McIntyre in the Tree of Woe sits up and launches Orton. He does that little sit up, fucking belly to belly. This man just, I don't know how he can do that shit. Future Shock avoided momentarily, but then it's hit for a 2 count. Glasgow Kiss clotheslines Orton over the top rope, going over with him. Draping DDT, sets up for the punt kick on a prone McIntyre. Reverses it with a powerbomb. Claymore is avoided. RKO is avoided. Roll up. Sorry, not roll up, but backslide. McIntyre wins 9 out of 10. 5-2 on predictions. It was a very shitty way to end an otherwise amazing match. However, I mistakenly said mostly just to set up for Payback if I had to guess. Like, it's cool that they were planning, it seemed like they were planning for that, but the ending just, I don't like roll-ups, man. Roll-ups suck, especially for, like, championship matches. It's such a shitty way to have your champion retain a title. However, I was wrong, because on Monday Night Raw, Drew McIntyre got punt kicked not once, not twice, but 3 times by Randall Keith Orton, and Keith Lee debuted attacking Orton and had a match against Orton in which Drew McIntyre then attacked Randy Orton during the match. That was after the first two. The first two were earlier in the night, and Drew McIntyre got back up eventually and attacked Orton during the match he had against Keith Lee, setting up for Keith Lee versus Randy Orton at Payback so they can actually have a finish to their match. Also, Keith Lee has a new attire and a new theme song, which is to deal with CFOs and WWE's split, so there's nothing they can really do about that. I'd miss Keith Lee's song as well. Hopefully they'll get him a new song that sounds a lot better, because the song they currently have sounds like shit. Drew McIntyre got punt kicked the 3rd time and was taken away in an ambulance to a local medical facility / hospital to be checked on. So it seems like he is out for at least the next couple weeks because of 3 punt kicks. However, the problem I have is people are like, oh, well, it's like I remember back in the day, this is why WWE sucks now, because they never sell anything. I'm like, motherfucker, you could literally see the gap of space between Orton's punt kicks and Drew's face during the fucking first 2 punt kicks. You could legitimately see how much space was there and how obvious it was that he was not kicking Drew in the head. The 3rd one looked better, but it still kind of looked crap. So it's like, dude, I would not personally sell something, even if I'm told to sell the move during a match or something. If I know it missed me and it missed me bad to the point where people can see, I'm just going to look fucking stupid selling that. It's like when Ronda was doing the punches to Ruby Riott way back in the day, and you can clearly see the amount of space between them, and Ruby's still selling like she's getting punched. Like, no, don't sell it if you can clearly see you're not being hit. Like, if you're not being hit and the fans can see you're not being hit, don't fucking sell the move, because it makes it look so bad. I think the people saying that Drew should have sold the 2 better that missed him completely, and you can clearly see they missed him, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, it fucks. And granted, in the replays, they did show it from different angles, so it looked like he was still kicking him. But, dude, make it look more believable next time, please. And finally, the final match of the night, match number 8, the WWE Universal Championship match between Braun Strowman and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Prediction was The Fiend for both. Keith Lee was announced as coming to Raw tomorrow, or Monday, which I kind of spoiled already, talking about Keith Lee's debut. But yes, Keith Lee was announced to debut on Monday Night Raw. Fiend laughs at Braun's attacks, goes wild on Strowman, gets the neck snap. Fiend hits him with a toolbox. Strowman runs him through a barricade. Fiend's chokeslam onto the announce table. Strowman's in the ring, taking to the Fiend, running power slam for a 2 count. Throws the Fiend into the Titantron on the stage. Fiend slamming Strowman in the wall. Sister Abigail for a 2 count. Slams Strowman into the Tron, crawling towards him on the stage. Mandible claw outside. Strowman tries to fight it off. Power slam to the Fiend for a 2 count. Strowman grabs a box cutter and he cuts open the ring, exposing the wood. Now here is a problem I have. Ross from Cultaholic does the what the fuck moments on pay-per-views and stuff. And he's talking about this moment where he's like, oh, he's got a big F-off knife, he's got this big F-off box cutter, and he cuts the ring open with it. And people are like, oh yeah, but he can't stab him because it's, it's PG, it's technically a kid's show. I'm thinking, then why have him grab out a giant fucking box cutter at all? Why not do anything else for him to, you can rip the ring up. Why not have him do anything possible to rip the ring up rather than grab a big box cutter to where he could legitimately stab the person and use that to cut the ring open? Why not do the other million ways there is to get the fucking ring apron or the ring mat up so you can expose the wood? It was just dumb in my opinion that they had him grab a big knife. It looked weird that he didn't just decide to try to stab Bray with it or something. Uranagi to Strowman on the wood, Sister Abigail, a second Sister Abigail, and the Fiend finally takes the championship back, getting his 2nd Universal Championship. 20 out of 10, 6-2 on predictions. Great match, wild spots. The mat being cut up was still such a crazy thing to see happen in like a way like that. I'm not going to say it wasn't, because it never happens that way. They always go outside and grab the bolt cutters and they cut the lines, and then they drag it over so that they can expose the wood. I liked it being done in a different way. I just think it was dumb having him grab the knife and not try to use it on the Fiend. Even if you say it's PG, they can't do that, then why have him grab a big knife out? Because it's going to immediately give people the idea of, oh my god, he really is a monster, he's going to try to fucking kill him. That's your first thought. So if he tried to actually stab him, and you could literally just have a protector on the blade that's very difficult to see for fans, and have him try to stab him, and have the Fiend dodge it, and then hit him with a Uranagi or Sister Abigail or something. You don't need to have him grab a big knife to fucking expose the wood. And then, as if this match wasn't crazy enough, out of fucking nowhere, Roman goddamn Reigns returns, spears the Fiend, goes out, spears Braun Strowman, attacks Braun with a chair like crazy, fucking goes back in, starts attacking the Fiend again, spears him, holds up the Universal Championship at the end of the night. He's got new teeth. He's got like new, I don't know what happened with him, but he's got newer, whiter, like his teeth look a lot whiter. He sits there, he holds the championship up, he looks down at the Fiend. He even told Braun, you're not a monster without me, and Payback is going to be crazy, you guys, because at Payback, there's going to be a triple threat match for the Universal Championship between Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And all I can say is I hope to God the Fiend wins, because if Roman takes the championship from him that quick, I'm going to be very, very sad. However, I did also think about another few possibilities that we could see for this. So Survivor Series comes up in a couple of months, so my brain got to thinking. We could potentially see Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre in Survivor Series one-on-one match between the main champions, which we've seen a million times. We could potentially see The Fiend versus Drew McIntyre in champion versus championship match, or champion versus champion match at Survivor Series. We could potentially see Keith Lee versus The Fiend in a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series if he does end up being brought into the title picture over there. Or we could potentially see Roman Reigns versus The Fiend, or versus Keith Lee in a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series. All of which sound fine to me. Hell, Braun versus Drew, or Braun versus Keith, or Braun versus Reigns, or they all sound great to me. As a whole, I give the pay-per-view 5 stars because, let's be honest, it was great. I did see somebody say something about Raw, like, oh, Fiend and Braun and Roman, and mentioned Raw, and I'm thinking, like, that works, except they're on SmackDown, dickhead. Like, are you fucking dumb? But yeah, that's the pay-per-view as a review for SummerSlam 2020. Let me know what you guys thought about down in the comments below. I will see you all in the next video. Stay golden. Peace.